Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to Morning Coffee Thoughts. Not live. I know I've been slacking on these for a little bit, but I only want to do them when I'm inspired. And today's thoughts is a story. Story time! Yay! Story time! I'm sitting here in the Muskogee, Oklahoma Pilot, and I just watched Ratman Rodin's video. He had gone down US 69. He called it was like visiting an ex-girlfriend or something. It was kind of funny. The speed bump of many miles is what US 69 in Oklahoma is. And I used to run down this road all the time, especially early in my career. So I know every bump, because it's the same spots that need repair every year. I guess water gets in the cement, and it's just like the same spots every single year. So you go through this period of, or not period, but you go through these certain areas, and you got to be in the left lane, or else you're just going to get rattled. Anyways, story time, right? For those of you who don't know, my father was a truck driver. He was an owner-operator in the 80s. And we lived in Phoenix, Arizona, but we had a lot of ties in Springfield, Missouri. Now, back in the day, there was a place called Wild Bill's there in Springfield, Missouri. Now, how I remember it was this big complex of this huge bar and hotels and this place was infamous in the trucking world. If you stopped in Springfield, that's where you stopped. And my dad was wanting to get there, and so I don't remember where we were. I'm gonna say we were somewhere on I-44, and we went through a way station. I was riding with him. We went through a way station, and he got pulled in. Now, he wasn't heavy. We were hauling tampons, feminine women products, in a reefer trailer, and cop pulled him in. He had an air leak in one of his hoses. I want to say it might have been around the glad hand. I don't know. I was young. I wasn't paying attention. But when you pull up to a scale house, they have a microphone. They can hear you. They can hear your truck. And they heard the air leak, so they brought him in. So I don't know. I think he got away with a warning or whatever, but he was really, really worried about that scale. I want to say there in Stratford, Missouri, there used to be a scale. Maybe it was St. Clair. I don't remember. But I knew it was a scale in Missouri that he was really worried about, that we're going to shut him down if he got to Springfield, Missouri, before we could get to Springfield, Missouri. So we're driving along, and my dad's like, yeah, I can't do anything about the air leak right now. And I came up with an idea. I said, what if you turn the refrigerated unit on right before we get to the scale? That would mask the sound of the air. And he's driving along. He looks at me like, that's brilliant. It really shocked him how brilliant that idea was. Especially coming out of, I think it was 13 at the time, And so, so he's sitting there thinking about that idea. It's like, you know what? I'll even put it in full-blown freezer mode, like right before we get to the scale. That way it's really running hard, right? So about 5 miles before we get to the scale, he pulls over on the shoulder, and he turns on the reefer. We get through the scale, no problem. We get to Springfield. I was rewarded with a lot of video arcade money and a good meal. it was funny. But it's little things like that, little memories like that of my dad and I driving, riding in the truck, and and it's the sad part is that my son used to ride with me in the truck. Now he's 17. Could kind of care less about it, and and it's definitely not as exciting for him as it was for me at that age. I think I rode with my dad up until I was 16, 17 years old, every summer. But that was a cool memory because I helped my dad out, gave him an idea, and I'm sitting there thinking, because I asked him before I did that, I said, what do we have in the back? He said, feminine products. And he was like, I'm like, well, would it hurt to turn the reefer on? He's like, absolutely not. So he did, and it worked. And of course, we got 5 miles more past the scale. He turns off the reefer, and we get to Springfield. Anyways, every time I come out west, I think of those moments, because we lived in Phoenix, Arizona, and so my dad's main run was with 2 brokers, and he would go from usually California or parts of Arizona with produce, take it out to Hunts Point, New York, or Boston, Massachusetts, and then pick up a load of toys coming back to Arizona. That was his jam. So we were up and down 40 all the time. We were up and down 95 a lot. And I have yet to drive in New York City in a big truck, but I've ridden in a truck in New York City. And of course, this was 25, 30 years ago, so I imagine it's like way different now. I know that Hunts Point is like way different now, but it's little memories like that kind of keep me going, because I'll admit I've been kind of down. I did a video about the freight recession that may or may not come, and how to prepare for it just in case it does come. And a lot of people took that as a doom and gloom, pessimistic video. I don't know. I think that telling you a problem without telling you a solution, that's doom and gloom. Someone sent me a video for a podcast, and about certain things that were going on in the news, and it's like, I don't know, it just, I think the only purpose of the podcast was to let me know that evil existed in this world. It didn't offer a solution. There is no solution for what the podcast was about. And while I don't believe that we should live in a bubble and think that the world is okay, we need to know the evils of the world. I think that if you continue to dwell in things that we have no control over, I think it eats away at your soul a little bit, And it's funny, the trucker's table, AKA Triple T, he got on Zello and he was telling me, it's like, oh, it really kind of surprised because you're always upbeat and positive, and then he came out with that doom and gloom video, and I'm like, that was strange, and that's cool that maybe I give that impression to him, but that I've never really been accused of being upbeat all the time. If you guys have been watching since my Landstar days, I'm not always upbeat. And I think that my perception in the last 10 years of being out here has really changed about myself and about trucking and about people, and I've really learned a lot about myself, and losing the weight has been a big part of that too. It's like I've got this new mental clarity that's really kind of like it's waking up a deeper person than I have been. I don't know, it's like this fog has been lifted. And sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I know exactly what I need to do, where I need to go. Then other days I wake up a little bit too awake. And I see things a little bit deeper, and that gets depressing. It's trying to find that happy medium, So a good book, good song, good memory kind of brings you back down the balance, But anyways, I got my bean to cup coffee from the Muskogee Pilot here, which has not changed at all in the last 8 years I've been coming in here. 8 or 9 years, 10 years, however long I've been driving. But they do have the bean to cup. And they had the cinnamon aroma, which, most of you think, oh, it smells so good. It almost smells rancid to me at this point. And I know that having one of those cinnamons would just destroy my pancreas, so. But anyways, enjoy your coffee if you're having some. And if you don't like coffee, what's wrong with you? See ya.